Ten Hag is staying and about to sign a new 2-year extension under INEOS, but the terms in his contract will be changed. He will have less power on the transfer front, but INEOS are giving him power to completely clear out the squad because that's what they want. And there could be 12 plus players leaving. Already 40 million has been saved in wages just through exits and changes ongoing, and more changes are going to happen. So we're going to break down all the latest Manchester United news on Ten Hag's new contract, the outs, the ins, INEOS's plans. So please do hit that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. And guys, let's get into the news. So let's talk about these stories. Jason Burt said Ten Hag's expected to sign a new 2-year deal. Romano said there's more than a 90% chance that Erik Ten Hag will sign a new contract at Manchester United. Discussions are ongoing. The contract length is expected to be 2027. So 2-year extension with obviously sort of his power in transfers and being reduced, basically. He's going to sign a new contract under INEOS's terms, it is believed. And then Anil Kandola said reduced role for Erik Ten Hag regarding his job and main changes seem to be around transfers now. Also informed Erik Ten Hag can be seen as the most powerful manager since Sir Alex, as INEOS have given him full license to rip up the squad and rebuild. So, although his sort of power has been given away in ins, it seems that he still has the power in outs to sell who he wants, which is good. I think that's important. I mean, they went behind his back and sold Varane, didn't even ask Ten Hag if he wanted to keep Varane. They were like, Varane's on high wages, he's going. They've already decided they're selling Casemiro, but, you know, Ten Hag can sell who he wants. There's also players that INEOS will sell when Ten Hag might be like, oh, I might keep them. INEOS are like, no, they're going. So, let's talk about that, because Varane, Martial, and Williams and Amrabat have basically be confirmed exits. Those players probably save £37 million in wages. Plus the fact that we're not in Champions League, so every player in the team has to take a wage cut. Man United have probably already saved around 40 to 50 million in wages already this summer. Now they're claiming we have a 50 million net spend / money saved. That could be money throughout, that could be money in wages, I'm not sure. I think we have 100 million net spend, and then they say every year we have a 50 million net spend and we spend 100. But there's 40 million in wages saved already, and they want to get rid of a lot of the big earners. And the biggest earner of them all, who's on I believe £19 million a year, is Casemiro, and he's on a long deal as well. Romano said this: Casemiro is expected to leave Manchester United in summer in the case of a good proposal. Interest from Saudi Pro League remains active. Romano said, I expect Casemiro to leave Man United this summer, and we know that Saudi Arabia is willing to pay 30 million for Casemiro, and Casemiro is open to moving to Saudi. We're essentially going to get around 45 to 50 million with Casemiro's exit. Now, there is talk that Saudi will pay 50, 60 million for Casemiro. I don't think they will. I think that's just BS. I think they'll pay about 30 million for Casemiro. It's a done deal. I think then 40 million saved in wages already, 50 million from Casemiro's sale and the wages saved. You know, that's 90 million saved across wages and selling Casemiro. Let's round it down because it's United. 80 million. The funds are really getting there. But the most likely sale along with Casemiro this summer is Greenwood and Sancho. It feels like if we're going to raise money this summer, Greenwood, Sancho, Casemiro are probably the three names that are going to be raising the most money. You can get about 100 million for Greenwood, Sancho and Casemiro, which hopefully would be reinvested correctly back into the squad. So Time Marshall said this: Manchester United is still aiming to sell Sancho and Mason Greenwood this summer, and what could be a significant boost to the FFP position. You've got to remember Mason Greenwood will be pure profit in the eyes of FFP as well, which is even better. We will talk about McTominay and other players that could bring in pure profit as well later. It was said that United could bring in as much as 70 to 80 million if both forwards leave on permanent deals. I think we'll probably get around 70 million for both, just because Sancho, they know Ten Hag's staying, we don't want him back. Greenwood, they know we don't want him back because of external circumstances. I think we could get 80 to 90 million for both if they were players that we wanted to keep and that were in the plans. But because people know that we don't want to keep them, they can't really come back for external reasons. We'll probably get around 70, 65 million for the both of those players. Potentially one of them only sells and the other one goes out on loan with obligation to buy or something because of, you know, wages and difficult situations surrounding that. It was also said that Juventus are interested in Greenwood and made a 25 million bid. Juventus, if they can sell Soule or Chisea, may come back in for Greenwood and could be willing to maybe strike a deal around £30 million plus add-ons, which United would happily accept. And apparently Greenwood himself is open to moving to Juventus. So hopefully that progresses and moves forward. Obviously, Sancho has been linked to Borussia Dortmund, but Borussia Dortmund is saying, you know, he's not a priority. We can't make him permanent. They just want a loan deal. They're trying to mug us off a bit. I think they might go back in for Sancho, but I think they know that we're desperate to sell and they can maybe get a loan deal. I think Dortmund is thinking, I think this is what will happen. if a team shows an interest in Sancho and playing his 30 to 40 million pound fee, because I think United will accept anything over 30 million, but they'll probably give 40 million. If a team shows an interest in paying 40 million for Sancho, I think Dortmund will then pay an interest in paying 40 million for Sancho. But I think Dortmund are going to go, you know what, if this gets to like August 29th and no one's buying Sancho, Man United will need to get rid of him. So then we can offer our loan deal. I think Dortmund are just going to wait to the end and see if they can scoop him up on loan at the end of the window when no one shows interest in him. So let's talk about other players that United want to offload. And I really do hope we offload these players because they won't be starters. I hope we offload at least 2 of the players on this list. But it will say that United will listen to offers for Maguire, Wan-Bissaka, Antony, Victor Lindelof and Eriksen. Now, for me, it's so important that we offload Lindelof. I mean, the fact that Lindelof got a 1-year contract extension and Varane's gone, I get that Lindelof's wages are less, but because Lindelof's on lower wages, he should be easier to sell. 15 to 20 million pounds, he's not good enough for United. Maguire's a better player than him. He's injury prone. There's interest from Italy. If we can get 15 to 20 million for Lindelof, cash in, and that could go towards getting us a Lenio, Todibo, or Branthwaite kind of deal. Wan-Bissaka, 15 to 20 million, interest from Italy, Turkey, and Crystal Palace. For me, I wouldn't sell Wan-Bissaka for anything less than 15 million because it's going to take at least 15 million to replace him. He is a competent backup, but we could use an improvement in that area, and also has 1 year left on his deal, so this is probably the best time to sell him. Harry Maguire will probably be costing around £25 million. I think United will look to offload him if someone's willing to pay his wages, but I don't think Maguire will leave because I think he'll want his wages paid. There's been interest from a lot of clubs in England. He would be a good signing for West Ham, but I don't see Maguire leaving. I think it will be easier to sell Lindelof, and if I had to sell one of Lindelof, Maguire would be Lindelof. And then Eriksen probably could get 5 million for him. He's interested in leaving for game time, would lower his wage. That works for us. And then Antony I would sell, but realistically, who's going to give us 30 plus million for Antony? Nobody. It's going to be a massive FFP loss anyway. Even if we've got 30 million, that's 55 in FFP lost in 2 years. And also, he's still under investigation in Brazil. He's not been cleared. Like, obviously, it's not going on in England, so there's not much noise about it. And it's not like to the level of the Greenwood thing. But he is still technically under investigation in Brazil, which I think will put teams off buying him. The fact that he's been bad as well. The fact that he's on £200,000 a week. No one's going to be able to afford his wages. Like, offloading Antony is going to be very difficult. We're going to talk about less likely sales now. It was said that Manchester United will listen to offers for homegrown players. Marcus Rashford and Scott McTominay and Mason Greenwood will leave Manchester United this summer. Will not leave. So Scott McTominay and Marcus Rashford, they listen to offers for. Mason Greenwood will leave Man United this summer. Scott McTominay, I think they wouldn't accept anything unless they can get 35 million plus. If Chelsea's slapping 50 million on Conor Gallagher, we can get 35 million from McTominay. He's had actually a somewhat decent season. I would take anything over 30 million for him because this is like the last time we're going to get money for him because his contract's running down and we know that he's not good enough to start, but off the bench, he's been important in some games for us, but we know he's just not good enough for the direction we want to go. And then if Rashford wants to leave and you get a bid in the range of 80 million mark, I think INEOS would consider it because he's had a poor season, but I think they believe in Rashford and know that if he gets back to his best, he's going to be a key player for the project moving forward, which brings us into the more exciting part. Well, actually, the outs are super exciting because at the end of the day, what we do in regards to the ins massively depends on the outs. You know, potential sales again could be Donny, Pulisic, Mejbri likely to be offloaded or go on loan. Ahmad may push for a move if not guaranteed game time. But if we sell Casemiro, Sancho, Greenwood, that's 100 million. We offload Lindelof and McTominay, that's 150 million. Lindelof, McTominay, Sancho, Casemiro, Greenwood is 150 million. We'll say Man United tax, so 125 million pounds raised and players sold, plus like the 40 million in wages as well, plus the 40 million we've already saved in wages. Like that's freed up 200 million pounds. Now, obviously, when you sign a player, you pay the wages as well. But let's say that's freed up 150 million pounds to invest in the ins. So let's look at the ins. Who are Man United's target for sort of each position? So the 3 main centre-back targets are Branthwaite, Euro and Todibo. Euro, if he doesn't go Real Madrid, I think we can get him. We really like Euro, but I do think he's waiting out for Real Madrid despite them not showing interest in paying the fee. Todibo, I feel like it will happen, but we've not been linked to him a lot, but maybe that's because we're comfortable it will happen. Easy deal to do, player wants to move. And then Branthwaite is the priority and we're just trying to work on his price tag. I think a deal for Branthwaite could be done end of June for about £55 million. In DM for Fofana, he will leave Monaco available for £25 million. It's such a gem in a saturated DM market, so there's going to be a lot of competition for Fofana, and that's something we're going to have to watch out for. No doubt in my mind, Chelsea will probably go in for him because we're linked to him. I feel like Chelsea wait to see who Arsenal, Man United and other teams want to sign, then go for them. And then Hulman obviously could be an option there at Sporting, £40 million. João Gomez, £40 million. Had a good season at Wolves, but more of an 8 than a 6. And then João Neves we really like. I think if we could sign anyone on this DM list, it would be João Neves. That's who Manchester United want the most. Although I do think he lacks the physicality to be the partner for Maino. I think he's brilliant, but I still think I think João Neves and Fofana would be 2 good signings. If you get what I'm saying, or João Neves and Weaver We still need a bit more physicality midfield. He'd be an unbelievable signing. I love Jao Neves. He's brilliant. But I think Jao Neves and Branthwaite are probably the two signings that they like the most. INEOS is a Varane replacement and the Casemiro replacement, even though Jao Neves isn't really a Casemiro replacement, but you know what I'm saying. But I think it massively depends on the fee. At left back, they've looked at Kirkes of Bournemouth. They seem to be exploring him the most as per Patricio Romano. They've looked at Bard of Nice, Aït-Nouri of Wolves, but he may be at price range. And then obviously Loco. There was rumours of the Girona left-back I was having a look at as well, and Maatsen, but looking less likely. Elise and Doué, the only real attackers we've been looked at, which have both been linked to Chelsea now. And then centre-forward, we looked at Cunha, but we're probably going to be priced out of that. Xerxes probably going to move to AC Milan for game time. Bier, obviously, the Bundesliga striker we've just been linked to, £27 million release clause. Ivan Toney, probably a little bit out of price range. Dominic Calvert-Lewin could be one to watch. Very underwhelming deal, but that's Man United. And then Girassi, although he might be Dortmund bound, he could be available for a good price. So that is all of Manchester United's latest plans in regards to the transfer window. The clear out is the most important thing. Now Ten Hag is staying, the clear out needs to begin. So smash a like, smash a subscribe. See you guys next time. Bye.